They say every rose tells a story, but what if that story is a warning? What if love isn't the only thing being delivered with every bouquet? A florist who built an empire on romance now finds herself entangled in a web of secrets, betrayal, and blackmail. A single black rose, a symbol of mystery, of death, of revenge, appears in her shop. And with it, a message. Your secrets won't stay buried. Ebony James spent years cultivating a business that promised love, but someone is using her flowers to deliver threats. As the city's most powerful figures scramble to protect their darkest sins, Ebony is caught in the middle. Is she a pawn in someone's dangerous game, or a player who's just been outplayed? The truth is like a flower. It can be beautiful, or it can be deadly. And this Valentine's Day, love isn't the only thing in bloom. Welcome to Kissed by a Black Rose, where every petal carries a secret, and every secret has a price. Now let's begin. Ebony James leaned against the antique oak counter in her florist boutique, rose and bloom, rubbing her temples as the early morning light filtered in. The hustle and bustle of a city famed for its over-the-top Valentine's Day festivities was palpable, with phone lines buzzing and deliveries stacked to the ceiling. Yet amidst the chaos of red, pink, and white roses, a lone black rose lay on the marble countertop, stark and ominous. She squinted at its petals, which seemed to absorb rather than reflect the light. A small ivory tag dangled from the stem, bearing only a cryptic message. Your secrets won't stay buried. Her heart thundered. Immediately, Ebony thought back to her hard-won journey, scraping by in her early 20s, bartending at night and attending horticulture classes during the day, all to create this dream business. She prided herself on fostering love, not fear. Yet here she was, clutching a rose that felt more like a weapon than a token of affection. "Ebony, you okay?" Marcus Brown, her longtime employee and confidant, stepped out of the back room. Standing at 6 feet, his strong jawline and warm, deep-set eyes usually exuded calm reassurance. But the second he saw the black rose, he froze. "We don't sell those," he muttered, perplexed. "Apparently, we do now." Ebony forced a laugh she didn't feel, sliding the rose away. The phone rang shrilly, and Ebony jolted. A furious VIP client ranted on the other end. "I received a black rose. Your shop's tag was on the wrapper. Tell your team I won't be threatened." He slammed the phone down before she could respond. Pain stabbed Ebony's chest. She'd spent years building a stellar reputation. Hope swelled inside her as she recalled her shop's mission, delivering the language of flowers, bridging hearts. But now her world shook again with pain. Someone was orchestrating a scheme in her very own shop, using Ebony's dedication to love as a twisted front. Her breath caught. She whispered to Marcus, "We have to find out who sent that rose. And why." Crystal Patterson, the elegant co-owner of Rose and Bloom, paced near the display of exotic orchids. At 42, Crystal wore her experience like armor, sleek bob, designer blouse, and an air of unwavering confidence. Yet, when Ebony told her about the angry calls, Crystal's composure cracked. "What do you mean, a black rose?" "We never stock those," she snapped, voice trembling with uncharacteristic fury. Marcus hovered nearby, arms crossed over his chest. "We've had more than one complaint already. Ebony found this." He gestured to the black rose, now tucked in a leather folder on the counter to keep it away from curious eyes. Crystal's eyes blazed. "We built our brand on respect and romance. We can't afford to have high-paying clients spooked by cryptic threats. No one leaves a negative Yelp review about blackmail and then orders daisies." A tense silence loomed. Ebony exhaled, recalling how Crystal had come on board as an investor when the florist was on the verge of bankruptcy. Despite Ebony's pride, she'd needed help. Crystal's funding saved Rose and Bloom. Ebony always believed they shared the same vision: flower therapy, genuine connection, a new brand of empathy. But something about the Black Rose fiasco made Ebony wonder, did they truly share everything? Marcus swallowed. Let's check inventory. Maybe it's a prank or an outside job, or maybe... He hesitated, exchanging a knowing look with Ebony. Could it be an inside job? Before Ebony could respond, the store door chimed. A delivery driver set down a large box. The label read, Valentine's Rush, Priority. Within minutes, Ebony tore it open, expecting the usual red and pink roses. Instead, she found a second black rose concealed among normal blooms. Fear uncoiled in her gut as she retrieved another card. Love built on lies, withers in darkness. What does that even mean? Crystal asked, voice laced with anger and something else Ebony couldn't place. Guilt? Unsure whom to trust, Ebony murmured, It means someone's using our shop as a front for some twisted agenda, and if we don't stop them, we're going to lose everything we built. When night fell and the shop closed, Ebony lingered in the back office. Stacks of paperwork covered the mahogany desk, vendor receipts, order requests, and old account ledgers. She felt a chill that had nothing to do with the air conditioning. Marcus joined her, softly asking, You all right? She shook her head, tears threatening. Number. We're on the brink of Valentine's chaos, and this Black Rose nonsense could destroy us. Marcus rubbed her shoulder reassuringly. Then let's find answers. They searched through every drawer, flipping through invoices and receipts. Nothing unusual, until Ebony noticed a locked compartment in Crystal's desk. Heart racing, she debated. Should she invade Crystal's privacy? They'd been partners for years, but Ebony had to protect her shop. Clicking the small lock open with a paperclip, Ebony pulled out a slender notebook. She flipped it open under the desk lamp, eyes widening with each page. It wasn't a typical ledger. It listed names, famous ones, next to suspicious entries, hush money payments, affair cover-ups, and coded references to personal sins. Terrence Miller, city councilman with a squeaky clean image. Vanessa Ricks, the pop star rumored to be dating another celebrity. Even local business moguls had entire sections, referencing extramarital entanglements and shady backdoor deals. Marcus hissed under his breath. Why does Crystal have this? Ebony skimmed the pages, unsettled by how detailed they were. This is blackmail material. If any one of these clients found out we had this, they'd be furious. She paused, recalling her own moral slip. Years ago, a friend had asked Ebony to deliver a heartfelt apology bouquet to an ex. Ebony never did, thinking it was pointless. That ex had been humiliated publicly, and Ebony still remembered the betrayal in her friend's eyes. Did Ebony, too, have a role in overshadowing real love with selfish decisions? Marcus hovered over her shoulder. Crystal's been taking notes on each VIP client? This might explain the black roses, but who's weaponizing the info? Ebony pressed the notebook to her chest. Whoever it is, they want revenge, and they're using our brand to do it. We can't ignore this ledger. We have to confront Crystal. Her mind raced with questions, each more damning than the last. Had Crystal become the shop's saboteur, or was someone else using her secrets to burn them all? The morning sun found Ebony, Marcus, and Crystal in the shop's private lounge, a neatly furnished space with plush chairs and floral paintings. Ebony felt her stomach churn as she laid the ledger on the coffee table in front of them. Crystal's face went pale. You broke into my desk? She stammered, her usual poise shattering. That was private. Ebony shot back, her voice trembling with betrayal. You kept a record of our clients' darkest secrets, behind my back. Why? Crystal's eyes flickered with a mix of anger and shame. Insurance. If any of those big-shot clients tried to ruin our reputation, I wanted something to keep them in check. I never intended to blackmail them. It was precaution. Marcus leaned forward, elbows on his knees. You expect us to believe you weren't planning to use it? I wasn't behind the black roses, Crystal insisted. I had the ledger, yes, but I wouldn't sabotage our own shop. That would be suicidal. Suddenly, Ebony's phone chimed with a text from an unknown number. She opened it, dread pinching her heart. You think you're innocent, Ebony James. Look in the mirror before you judge. Black Rose. Attached was a photo capturing Ebony speaking intimately with a wealthy married client last Valentine's Day. A misleading angle that suggested something far more scandalous than a simple conversation. Ebony's throat tightened with panic. This never happened. It wasn't an affair, she murmured, voice shaking. Crystal peered over Ebony's shoulder and drew a sharp breath. Whoever's behind this is trying to frame you. You see now why I kept that ledger? These people hide endless secrets, Ebony. Marcus clenched his fists. I don't like it, but maybe we need to talk to the clients who've already received black roses. See if they know anything. Ebony rubbed her temples, heart pounding with a mix of anger and fear. We'll do that. But Crystal, if you're lying about your involvement... Crystal's eyes shone with tears. I'm not. I've got plenty of regrets, but I never wanted to bring down Rose and Bloom. You have to believe me. Yet, Ebony wasn't sure she did. After all, the Black Rose scheme was escalating, and it was only a matter of time before someone's life, or reputation, was destroyed beyond repair. That evening, Ebony walked through her apartment door, exhausted and haunted by the day's revelations. Her boyfriend, Devin Carter, peeked up from the sofa where he'd been reviewing legal documents. He was a junior attorney with a heart for justice and an ear for Ebony's daily struggles. Long day? He asked gently, standing to greet her with a soft kiss. Ebony exhaled, burying her face in his shoulder. She never realized how much she needed that moment of calm until now. She collapsed onto the couch and recounted the black roses, the secret ledger, the damning photo that could ruin her career. Devin listened intently, nodding occasionally. His dark brown skin glowed under the dim lamp, and his caring eyes reminded her why she'd fallen in love with him. Here was someone who embodied the genuine love her florist shop aimed to celebrate. As she talked, Ebony felt a wave of pain from past decisions. Times she put her ambition first, times she brushed aside people's heartfelt needs in favor of landing bigger clients. Yet she also felt a spark of hope recalling how Rose and Bloom had delivered joy to countless couples. Her heart was heavy. She'd always believed she was on the side of love, but could she have been blind to her own missteps? Devin offered her a glass of water. Look, Ebony, I know your heart. You're not perfect, but you've always tried to do right. Don't let whoever's behind these threats shake your belief in love. She sighed, leaning into his warmth. But that photo? It suggests I'm a homewrecker, and it's not true. Devin's jaw set. Then let's prove it. I'll help you, Ebony. Maybe I can sift through the legal side. But ultimately, you'll have to decide whether covering up these wealthy clients' secrets is worth saving your business. Tears rimmed Ebony's hazel eyes. She recalled the guilt gnawing at her conscience. Did she, in some small way, foster illusions in exchange for profit? If the Black Rose saboteur was forcing a moral reckoning, Ebony wasn't sure she'd pass. She curled up next to Devon, bracing for the battle ahead. Morning light spilled through the florist shop's big glass windows. Ebony welcomed 2 VIP clients, Vanessa Ricks, a young African-American pop star with a golden voice, and Terrence Miller, the charismatic African-American councilman lauded for his family values. Both had called, frantic, after receiving black roses with notes threatening to expose them. Vanessa paced the shop, wearing large sunglasses and a sleek leather jacket. "This is insane! That note mentioned an affair, but nobody knows about that slip I had overseas. I thought it was buried." She shot Ebony a wary glare. "Is this your doing?" Ebony shook her head, hands raised in surrender. "Number, someone is exploiting what they know. Please, trust me, I want to stop this." Terrence Miller adjusted his tie. He was tall, with a dignified air. "I've built my career on integrity, Ms. James. This Black Rose fiasco puts everything at risk. Do you know how humiliating it is to receive a note that basically calls me a hypocrite? Especially when—" He stopped, clearing his throat, unwilling to finish the admission. Ebony exchanged a worried glance with Marcus, who stood by. "We're investigating," she assured them. "We'll find out who's behind the blackmail." "And if you do, you'll keep us out of the spotlight?" Vanessa asked in a clipped tone, fear etched across her elegant features. Ebony hesitated. These clients had done questionable things. Were they truly victims? Or was the Black Rose campaign delivering well-deserved accountability? She recalled something Devon told her. Enabling illusions for profit can make you complicit. Her conscience whispered that she should let the chips fall where they may. But Ebony's business might collapse if these influential figures pinned her as the saboteur. Gathering her courage, she replied, "I'll do what I can to protect your privacy. But right now, I need cooperation. Tell me if there's anyone with reason to expose your secrets." They exchanged guilty, uncertain looks. Terrence mumbled, "There's no shortage of people who'd revel in my downfall." Vanessa said nothing. Ebony's stomach churned. This was bigger than she'd realized, like stepping onto a battlefield littered with hidden landmines. She needed to tread carefully, or she'd lose not only her business but her moral compass. Later that afternoon, Ebony returned from a tense meeting with suppliers to find Rose and Bloom in disarray. The glass door stood ajar. Black petals led a grim trail from the front threshold to the main counter. Her breath caught as she bent down to pick one up. It was fresh. Marcus appeared from behind a display, a worried look on his face. "I just got here myself. I think someone broke in and left these petals." Crystal emerged from the back, brandishing a broom. "We found another note." She handed Ebony a slip of paper scrawled with bold, menacing letters. "It's almost time. The city's biggest Valentine's Gala will be our stage." Ebony's eyes flicked to the wall calendar. The prestigious gala at City Hall, attended by councilmen, celebrities, socialites, was in 2 days, the perfect place for a grand public reveal. If the saboteur had the ledger's secrets, Ebony could only imagine the carnage. Digging through the day's orders, Ebony discovered a large request from an unnamed client. Hundreds of black roses set to be delivered to the gala at midnight. She slammed the ledger on the counter. "We can't let that happen. If these are unleashed at the gala, entire lives will explode." Crystal swallowed hard. People could think we did it. This is bigger than blackmail now. It's sabotage with real consequences. Marcus nodded. "I'll handle the shipping logs. We'll replace any black roses with standard red or pink. That'll at least buy us time." Ebony's gaze locked on Crystal, searching for any flicker of deceit. Crystal seemed genuinely terrified. Maybe she truly was telling the truth about not wanting to sabotage the business. Ebony pulled Crystal aside, voice low. "This is your ledger, your secrets. If you're innocent, help us fix this." Crystal's hands shook as she whispered, "I swear, Ebony, I never wanted it to go public. We needed leverage to stay afloat in a cutthroat world." Ebony turned away, heart pounding. She had one shot to prevent disaster at the gala, but a dark feeling gnawed at her gut. Whoever planned this wanted to see all these illusions shattered, and Ebony suspected they wouldn't stop until they'd laid bare everyone's sins, including her own. Determined to stop the destructive plan, Ebony asked Marcus to handle the delivery schedule while she set out to investigate a lead. An old suspicion lingered in her mind. Lamar Hill, a former employee who left under tense circumstances 6 months prior. The sun was setting by the time Ebony reached the rundown neighborhood where Lamar reportedly lived. Concrete buildings loomed, and flickering streetlights offered sparse illumination. She found Lamar behind a chain-link fence, rummaging through boxes of wholesale electronics. He turned at the sound of her footsteps, revealing a faint scar on his chin. "Ebony James," he said with a wry laugh. "Didn't expect to see you here, especially after you fired me." Ebony inhaled, remembering how she'd discovered him forging receipts. Lamar claimed he was covering for a bigger problem. She hadn't believed him back then. "I need the truth, Lamar." "Do you know anything about black roses being sent from my shop?" He studied her, bitterness etched on his face. "Why should I help you? You never believed me when I told you there were shady dealings at Rose and Bloom. You let me take the fall." Her shoulders tensed, but she pressed on. "Look, I'm sorry about the past. But if you have a grudge, fine. Don't punish innocent people with a sabotage campaign. Lives will be ruined." Lamar's expression turned dark. "Innocent people? They pay hush money to maintain their squeaky clean images while the rest of us struggle. And you?" He pointed a finger at her. "You turned a blind eye, Ebony. You let those big clients do what they want because it kept your business afloat." Her heart sank, guilt flaring. Had she really ignored signs? She thought she was building something good, but maybe she'd unknowingly let corruption bloom. "I'm not perfect," she admitted, "but I want to fix this." "Do you know who's behind the black roses?" Lamar shrugged, his smile joyless. "Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Either way, Ebony, this city is overdue for a cleansing. You can't stop the truth from coming out." As she left, Ebony's stomach churned. She didn't have proof Lamar was the saboteur, but from the gleam in his eye, she suspected he wasn't acting alone. If she couldn't unravel this plot soon, a firestorm of scandal would erupt at the Valentine's Gala, and she'd be powerless to contain it. Valentine's Day arrived with a fanfare of pink and red decorations adorning every streetlight in the glittering city. By evening, the grand ballroom at City Hall was filled with luminaries in designer attire. Live music played softly, and camera crews hovered, capturing the city's elite celebrating love, or the illusion of it. Ebony entered in a sleek, midnight blue gown, her heart hammered, adrenaline coursing through her veins. Marcus, dressed in a tailored suit, had secured a partial replacement of the black roses, yet not all shipments had been intercepted, and Ebony worried about what might still be lurking. Scanning the crowd, Ebony spotted Terrence Miller looking tense by the buffet table, Vanessa Ricks sipping champagne nervously, and other VIPs warily eyeing the elaborate floral centerpieces. Crystal stood near the stage, face pale, fiddling with her phone. Suddenly, Ebony's gaze locked onto a familiar figure near the far corner, Lamar Hill. He held a phone up, recording everything with an unsettling grin. Before Ebony could reach him, the lights dimmed. A hush fell over the crowd. Confetti cannons were supposed to release red and pink petals in a romantic flourish. Instead, black rose petals rained down from above, drifting onto the elegantly dressed guests. Shrieks echoed. Gasps followed as people realized each black petal had names and incriminating details printed in tiny gold lettering. Affairs, bank transfers, hush money receipts, exposed in a single horrifying moment. The city's most powerful were unraveling in real time. Vanessa Ricks dropped her champagne, scanning the petals in horror. Councilman Miller clutched one, reading a line that revealed his extramarital fling. Cries of lies and sabotage erupted from every corner. A trembling Crystal rushed onto the stage, microphone in hand. Her voice quaked. This was never supposed to happen. I only kept records as insurance. She faltered, tears brimming. Ebony pushed her way forward, feeling heartsick. She caught sight of Lamar videotaping the chaos. So, he was capturing every meltdown for posterity, or blackmail. Ebony tried to reach him, but the frenzy was too great. Everywhere she turned, people confronted each other over exposed sins. She braced herself, knowing she too could be implicated. Her shop's name was bound to surface, whether she was truly guilty or not. Amidst the pandemonium, security guards stormed in, attempting to restore order. Furious VIPs clashed with paparazzi, who hungrily photographed every scandalous detail. On the stage, Crystal stood frozen, while Lamar circled like a vulture, filming each emotional breakdown. Ebony forced her way through the crowd. Her voice trembled as she grabbed the microphone from Crystal, ignoring the angry jeers and flashing cameras. She glanced at Lamar, catching his smug stare. Then she spoke. "I know this is shocking, but please listen," she said, tears pricking her eyes. "Some of us, yes, even I, played a part in this broken system of lies and hush money, but we can't let revenge define us." Her words faltered, but Devon's supportive gaze from the sidelines gave her courage. "I won't excuse what's been done here. Lives are hurt. Illusions are shattered. But if this is a reckoning, then let's face it. We need to choose how we move forward." The crowd quieted, if only because they were stunned that the woman at the center of the scandal had the nerve to speak. Lamar edged closer, phone trained on Ebony. She continued, voice thick with emotion. "I've made mistakes. I've overlooked wrongdoing. I thought I was nurturing love, but sometimes I was just ignoring reality. To everyone in this room, we can either keep chasing illusions or, maybe, we can start being honest. Let's acknowledge our failings and try to make something real out of this disaster." Security cornered Lamar, who attempted to bolt, but a vigilant guard grabbed him. His phone clattered to the floor, still recording. Screams and shouts echoed as the damning petals continued to swirl around like black snow. Crystal, shoulders sagging, whispered, I never meant for any of this. I just wanted to protect our shop." Ebony turned to her. "You can still make it right by being transparent. Step away from blackmail, from secrets. We can rebuild on honesty." Devon stepped onto the stage, placing a gentle hand on Ebony's shoulder. Lamar was escorted out, presumably to face charges. Many VIPs stood shattered by exposed truths, but some watched Ebony with a flicker of respect. She had the courage to own her part. In the aftermath, Ebony took over Rose and Bloom fully, with Crystal agreeing to leave quietly. Many clients faced harsh public scrutiny, but Ebony offered a path to genuine reconciliation if they chose it. She'd rediscover the heart of her business, real connections, not illusions. As she locked eyes with Devon, she realized her personal redemption lay in acknowledging her past missteps while moving forward with integrity. Valentine's Day, once the city's most glittering spectacle, turned into a night of raw truth and heartbreak, yet also the seed of something honest and new. Ebony embraced that duality, vowing to transform pain into a chance for real change. If you enjoyed this twist-filled journey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Stories by Laine for more unforgettable drama and surprises. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a story that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. Thanks for watching, and remember, twists you will not see coming await in every chapter.